All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Ephraim. Today's date is October 17th, 2020. And if you're listening to the sound of my voice, clearly you've been blessed to see yet another Shabbat, and all praise due to the Most High, Ahaya by Yeshua HaMashiach, Baruch Atah Adonai. All right. So that being said, what we're going to talk about today is what's been really trending in this last week or so. And it's this platinum plan that Ice Cube, the rapper who many of you should know from the platinum and groundbreaking group NWA, presented to both the Democratic and Republican parties. And Ice Cube has gotten a lot of pushback from people. Now, if the pushback is warranted, we're going to kind of discuss a little bit of that, and is it not warranted? Okay, I'm not here to judge either way, but I will give my commentary on it, but we're going to kind of get into that. Now, I will say before I even start that I do believe, and I don't know Ice Cube personally, never met him, but I would like to say, based on what I do know of this situation, I believe the brother's heart is in the right place. Now, the timing, that's another thing, okay, because there's nothing about the president's history that would let him know or feel that he could trust him in anything that he said. But anyway, we'll get into that later. But let's see what they're talking about here with this whole Ice Cube thing and this platinum plan, quote unquote, for Black Americans. Now, it said on Tuesday, Trump campaign senior advisor Katrina Pearson tweeted a shout out to Ice Cube, thanking the entertainer for helping the president develop his platinum plan, a 2-page campaign promise to increase access to capital in Black communities by almost $500 billion. In doing so, Pearson triggered an avalanche of criticism of the 51-year-old entertainer for collaborating with Trump. Quote, how does the guy from NWA become MAGA? Asked writer Roxane Gay. Ice Cube defended himself, saying that both the Trump and Biden campaigns had reached out to him about his contract with Black Americans. A 22-page detailed proposal Ice Cube released in August to address Black opportunity and representation, bank lending and finance reform, judicial and public policy reform, expansion of 13th Amendment rights, police reform, reform in Hollywood, and an approach to our Confederate past. According to Ice Cube, the Biden campaign told him it would circle back after the election, whereas the Trump campaign was open to his input sooner. It says, what came of Ice Cube's advice? A source familiar with the back and forth between Ice Cube and the White House said Ice Cube's biggest push was to get Trump to commit to a $500 billion investment plan, considerably more than what was initially proposed in the Platinum Plan. Ice Cube also pushed the Trump campaign to consider labeling the Ku Klux Klan a terrorist organization and to declare Juneteenth a federal holiday. It appears Ice Cube was successful, as the Platinum Plan includes promises to increase access to capital by $500 billion, though it provides few details on how it will go about doing so, to prosecute the KKK as a terrorist organization, legally dubious or doubtful given the FBI doesn't have that power, and to declare Juneteenth a national holiday, which requires an act of Congress. While Ice Cube's CWBA is a substantial document loaded with detailed proposals on reparations and Black representation in government and industry, the Platinum Plan is a leaflet packed with vague commitments and promises, covering housing, criminal justice, Black-owned businesses, jobs, education, religious freedom, health care, and more. Like so many Trump announcements, it is both wildly ambitious and remarkably sloppy. The plan lumps Antifa into its commitment to prosecute the KKK as a terrorist organization and seems to refer to second chance homeowners as second change homecomers. According to Politico, the connection between the White House and Ice Cube was engineered by Ken Kirsten, former editor-in-chief of Jared Kushner's New York Observer and longtime friend of Ice Cube's business partner, Jeff Quaternens, who also happens to be a former business partner of Steve Bannon's. Quaternens reportedly visited the White House in early September to discuss policy details. Though Ice Cube did not attend that meeting, he did attend a follow-up at a Washington hotel with Kushner and Trump advisors Jaron Smith and Brooke Rollins. On Sunday, Ice Cube released a video saying that, quote, hold on, give me 1 second. On Sunday, he released a video saying that he wasn't endorsing Trump or Biden, but he was thankful to the Trump administration for taking his advice on the Platinum Plan. The video was also critical of Biden and running mate Kamala Harris. Quote, I don't really see them pushing their policies in any particular direction, Ice Cube said. Much of the blowback, end quote, much of the blowback this week has included accusations of hypocrisy, pointing out that Ice Cube has previously said he would never endorse Trump and that in 2018, the rapper released a song called Arrest the President. Ice Cube seemed unfazed by the criticism. Quote, every side is the dark side for us here in America, he tweeted in response. Our justice is bipartisan, end quote. And, you know, that I do agree with, you know, on Ice Cube, but here's several things that I want to interject. Number one, let me just say that, again, with everything that's in this proposal for black people, and Cube was specific in that he doesn't want to include people of color or lump us into like some type of minority group. He says specifically black Americans who came here, whose ancestors came here on slave ships. So clearly, this plan of his is to directly target us or our people. Okay, so I don't see how anyone could look at that and second guess his motives or whatever the case may be, because clearly he doesn't need anything from Trump. He's a very rich, successful, black man, right? Let me start by saying that. Now let's get to the meat of all the blowback. Now Cube said that the Biden campaign said, oh well, let's wait till after the election, and Trump didn't want to jump right in. Well, there was a reason the Republicans wanted to jump right in, because it gives them an opportunity to use his face. Okay, let's be real, man. Let's scale it all the way back. Okay, Ice Cube, I believe his intentions are pure. Don't know that for a fact, but I believe his intentions to be pure. And I believe he is being used as a pawn by the Republican side of things, because blacks will see him, that follow him and love his movies and his music, and they won't really look further than the fact that it's Ice Cube saying, oh, Ice Cube has a platinum plan for us with the Trump people, whatever. And they're just going to look at that on the surface and think that he's indirectly or even some directly endorsing Donald Trump. I mean, let's just be real, because a lot of people don't want to think for themselves. So some will see that and think that, and please believe the Republicans will try to spin this as best they can to use Ice Cube's face somehow to their benefit. Now, the flip side of that, Ice Cube said that the Democrats said, well, let's wait till after the election. And I submit to Ice Cube and anyone who raised the same question is that the reason why I believe they said, let's wait till after the election, because simply put, the Democrats are not in power right now. The Republicans control the Senate. Okay, and so it makes no sense for them to say, okay, and that's how laws get passed, through the Senate. You can push bills all day, but if it doesn't get in the House, but if it doesn't get passed in the Senate is not the majority and doesn't vote for the bill or whatever, it's dead on arrival, right? So I believe they said, well, let's wait till after the election, because by then, hopefully, they will be in power and they can do something. I don't know if this was explained to him or that this is a scenario that he thought of or whatever the case may be, but I don't think it was a thing that they were just kind of brushing it off or putting it off. I just think that the hidden message was that, hey, there's nothing we can really, we can talk all day with you, but there's nothing we can really do. If we really want something put in place with this platinum plan to affect black Americans for generations to come, then we need to do it correctly. And right now, the Democrats are simply not in power to do that. All right. And that's my take on that. Now, again, I don't know that for a fact, but looking at it as objectively as I can, that's what it looks and feels like to me. Now, Ice Cube has been, he's been getting pretty dinged, man. I mean, a lot of people, supporting him, but he's been getting dinged a lot, saying that, oh, well, he's going back on his word because he said he would never endorse someone like Donald Trump, which, listen, man, we all have said things in the past, and that we may have meant at the time, or in a moment, whatever the case may be. But saying that he will never endorse someone like Donald Trump and wanting to push an agenda for his people, I mean, really, to be honest with you, man, if anything, it says a lot about his ability to set aside, whatever he personally feels for Donald Trump or whoever to push an agenda that further would benefit our people. Now that's my perspective, and I'm an older cat. All right, I'm not taking no sides. It's not about me, liking his music or his movies or none of that. But clearly, I know Ice Cube as far as I'm from that generation. Okay, so I've listened to all his albums. I pretty much got a handle on, it's the closest I can get to knowing someone without actually knowing them, through his music. And I believe that, based on that, this brother definitely gets a pass for me. Now the timing of it, right? The timing is, I think is horrible. That's one of the main things I want to say to that. The timing is just really, really bad. We're right on the heels, although millions of people have elected to vote early. We're right on the heels of an election, man. I mean, the timing, even though his heart might have been pure or is pure, the timing is horrible. Okay, because I said there are going to be a lot of blacks who are going to perceive that he's endorsing, Donald Trump with his platinum plan for black people, right? And so I don't think that to be the case. However, that's going to be the narrative, and that's the narrative that he's being judged on right now. That he's going back on his word. He said he would never endorse someone like Donald Trump, but him, basically putting forth this plan for Black Americans is somehow endorsing Donald Trump. And I don't agree with that. Many of you may agree with me or not agree with me. I mean, that's fine, but I don't see it that way, not at all. I think if anything, he's putting his feelings aside of what he personally feels. Because he says, look, man, I mean, I listened to the brother talk, and Cube gets it. One of the main reasons why we had the Great Depression of the 1920s is because the great disproportion of wealth. I mean, it was so great that this nation literally capsized. The disproportion of wealth was so great in this country that the nation literally capsized. And the brother he's on to something. He really is, and unfortunately, a lot of people I believe from the Republican side are going to see that again as an opportunity to use his face to garner black favor, black votes. I mean, that's just what it is. That's how I see it, and I think he's unwillingly and unknowingly being used, because he's looking at it from the perspective of, well, I'm not even on that. This is what I'm on for my people. This ain't to benefit him. He's saying the disproportion of wealth, the wealth gap, we have to address that. And he's specifically saying not just people of color, lumping us with people of color or minorities or all these other groups. He's saying specifically Black Americans. So how can you judge him on that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, the timing is just bad. And he is unfortunately being used. I believe his face being used. I don't trust the other side of the aisle. I don't trust them at all. I think they'll say and do whatever to try to pull out the election, whatever the case may be. And if I was Ice Cube's, homie or his friend, I would say to him, listen, there's nothing about that administration's history that would make you think and should make you feel comfortable that you could believe anything that they say, especially at this point. Right, we're right in the middle of an election, right? Take it with a grain of salt. I think it's innocently naive, of Cube to think otherwise. And I also think it's kind of big of him to put his personal feelings aside. Cause listen, Cube ain't, listen, I know the brother through his music. He has not changed up. He's been the same cat for over 20 something, 30, however long it's been. Listen to Death Certificate, Lethal Injection. I mean, the brother, he's never changed up. Like, but we so quick with this whole cancel culture to, want to quote unquote cancel our brothers. It's like, listen, man, LeBron doesn't want to just shut up and dribble. And just because Cuba's a rapper and makes movies, he shouldn't be confined to just that, especially when he gets about what's going on economically with our people in this country. He should have a voice. And that's just it, man. It's like, yeah, we cool with him making records and selling millions of records and making movies that make us laugh, feel good or whatever the case may be. But the minute he starts talking about some economic empowerment for black people, now it's a problem. Now, let's cancel Ice Cube. Man, come on, man. I don't get that. I don't understand that. Because he's a rapper, because he's a movie director now, producer, doing this thing. This man is 51 years old. Of course, he got some things to say. He got a lot of knowledge. I mean, if you look at his platinum plan, I mean, that's a heck of a plan. I just think that it was just wrongly executed. I think he probably needed some people that were specialists in those fields with him. Right, because that's even though he does have a lot of good ideas, that's not his expertise. Okay, let's keep it 100. He's a rapper, he's an entertainer. Okay, we get that, but that doesn't mean that he's any less intelligent or he's any less aware of what's going on with our people. But I think what he should have done, it wasn't presented properly. Number one, and two, the timing is just horrible. Because they're going to use his face and use some of his words, mix his words up, whatever the case may be, to make a lot of black people think that Ice Cube is endorsing Donald Trump. I mean, let's just, be real. So, that's my take on it. I believe the brother's heart is in the right place. It was just poorly executed. He should have had some specialists on his side, matter of fact, he should have probably had some specialists, to submit the plan, to the parties and go that route, vice, him using his face, because his face is influence. Let's not get it twisted. Ice Cube's face is known all over the world. So I think he should have done that and presented it, probably presented it later, not now. The timing was bad. And I think he needed some experts on his team that specializes in economics and things of that nature to present this to both the parties. But that's my take. No one has to agree with me. That's fine. But I do think the brother's heart, was in the right place. It was just, poor timing and poor execution. All right. So that's my take. All right. You guys have a peaceful Shabbat. I'm saying Shabbat Shalom. Ahai B'Hashem Yeshua HaMashiach. Shalom.